So here's some cold email bonus tips. So I like to call them some insider secrets, and I think they can really help you in getting a lot more results from your cold emails. So my first tip is to F up on purpose. Now, a little bit of caution is advised here. It's a technique that I haven't used myself more than once. It's something that I like, and I've seen it when I was working with a client, and they did it, and I think it's interesting. So I want to bring it up, and I want you to know about it. But if you're going to use it, then make sure that you've thought it through. It can be a little bit. It can be seen as a bit deceptive. So what you'll do is, and you cannot set this up in every piece of software, but in most of them you can. So what you'll do, you'll set up an email that's just your regular cold email, and you'll end, is it something you're interested in? If so, here's my calendar link, or here's a quick video I made for you, or here's a case study that I did for you that I think is relevant for you. And you have the area where there should be a link, but you'll leave that link out on purpose. And then what you'll do is you'll schedule a follow for like 1 to 3 minutes after that first email, where you say, oh, yikes, I forgot that link. Already thinking about the weekend. Here it is. So what happens is your prospect receive one email, then really quickly another email, so the notification, so a lot more opportunity for you to actually grab their attention. Plus it looks really, really human, because I forget links in my emails, well, not every day, but it happens quite a lot. So it doesn't look like a cold email at all. It looks really human, and you'll get their attention guaranteed. It's something that you could consider trying. Now, when you're sending cold emails, make sure to clean your data. So if you have the first sentence, if you're just taking your data straight from the source, maybe you're scraping LinkedIn or some other source, or using a database where they have like Apple Inc. as in Apple Incorporated, and it doesn't look natural at all, which makes your cold emails just look a lot more copy and paste and unnatural and unpersonal. So really make sure that you're cleaning your data. So you're taking out the MBA part, and you make sure that their names are in all caps, or companies are in all caps, or there are no emojis in there, there's no ink or what have you in there, whatever people put in their company name. But also, another pro tip that I use is where you change the company to the casual name. So here it says, for example, Naval Investment Fund of Silicon Valley, could be Naval or Naval Investment, because when you're sending an email to an acquaintance or a business connection of yours, you don't use the full name of their company. Maybe you only use, in this case, you use like NFS, for example, like an abbreviation, or you just use Naval, which is just a lot more casual, which again makes your cold email look more casual, more like an actual email. Make sure that you have multiple touch points in your cold outreach. So the most effective cold email campaigns or cold outreach campaigns that I've seen, they have multiple touch points. Maybe when you're scraping LinkedIn, in the process, try and connect with those people, visit their profile, click on follow. So they'll see your profile pop up, they have a face with it, and then later there's the actual email. Maybe if you also have their phone numbers, maybe you can set up an automated workflow where you incorporate Drop Cowboy, which is you can record like one voicemail, and then you have a list of 100 phone numbers, and it will just drop that voicemail on in these people their voicemail inbox. So you can have those touch points, which is a LinkedIn profile visit. You'll have a cold email, then maybe that voicemail, and maybe when you're doing account-based marketing or you're in enterprise sales, maybe you can even send over something like a physical letter or a gift or something, just to have more touch points in there. In the end, it takes about 7 touch points for people to come to a buying decision. So make sure that you have as many as you can, and that you can actually automate to make sure that it's something scalable. Now, Make sure that you're using redirection. Now, the title here is wrong, multiple touch points. It should say use redirection. What I mean by redirection is sometimes your targeting is a little bit off. So you're sending either to the wrong person, or someone is saying, hey, I'm too busy, you should be talking to this person, or maybe someone's title usually means something else, but in this case, their responsibilities are different, and they'll send you to someone else. Now, it can be tempting to just copy and paste that email address and send the exact same email to that person, but that is not something you want to be doing. What you actually want to do is you want to make sure that you leverage that redirection. So you'll just forward or reply to that email, and let's assume that you send an email to Annie Turner, and she said, no, you should be speaking with John. Just forward that email, say, hey, John, Andy said that you're the guy you should be speaking with. When is a good time to chat? So it makes it look like you already spoke with that colleague. They already vetted you. They noticed, okay, this is something that is relevant to us, and then they send it over to John. So especially when Annie is ranking higher within that company, which they call the waterfall technique, is then she sends it down to John, and then make sure you use it there, because then that way John's thinking, well, don't want to piss off Annie because, hey, I want to keep my job, so let's take this call. So make sure you use that redirection. Then it can happen with cold emails that you're not getting any traction. It happens to the best of us. And one really important technique that I've learned really early on, when I think I was 19 years old, and I was doing door-to-door sales. And one day it was going really, really bad. And my manager told me, listen, what you should be doing is don't try and pitch straight away. Just try and strike up a conversation with these people. So I took off my badge, which identified me as a salesperson. I just rang doorbell and said, hey, how's it going? What are you thinking of this and that? And, or I noticed you have this in your garden, and just something. And I had some interesting conversation with these people. And by the end, they were asking, so, hey, what are you doing here? And that's when I started pitching my product. There's also something you can use in cold email, where you're not saying, hey, do you want to have a meeting? Or, hey, do you want to hear about my product? But you're asking, hey, are you interested in networking? Because, hey, networks are important. It's important to network. You're only as strong as your network. So maybe we can grab a virtual coffee, or maybe we can connect on LinkedIn and we can have a bit of a chat there. Or maybe we can have a group call with some other CEOs in our industry. Then you'll lower that bar a lot, and then people are thinking, you know what, networking, it's important. It is important for me to have a strong network, and I'm getting a lot of deals through referrals, so let's make sure that I keep networking. And then later on, you can consider pitching your services when you feel it's relevant, when people have said, okay, listen, I'm struggling with this, or this is something I deal with in my business. Then, of course, don't be a D-bag about it, but then have like a soft pitch saying, oh, well, my company actually does this. Maybe that's something you want to check out. Make sure that you have the best time for sending your emails. You have that dialed in as well. So every Monday morning, you have a lot of emails in your inbox, and so do your prospects. What you want to make sure is you're sending at the best times possible. So studies have shown that the best times are between Tuesday and Thursday, between 11 and 4, but that can be different for every industry. So you want to check it out for yourself. One really cool tool that I use is GrowBots. GrowBots, they have a tool on their website. It's called the Time Optimizer. So it's labs.growbots.com/time-optimizer. And there they show the best possible time for you to be sending. But just really make sure you test that as well, where you send different campaigns, different days, different times. See where you're getting the most responses, the most positive responses, and then try sending more emails during those days and during those times. Give up the day job when you're sending cold emails. So what I mean by that is people don't want to talk to someone who is in sales. So they see an email that says, hi, I'm Hans and I'm the salesperson for, or hi, I'm Hans and I head up business development for, and think, you know what, this person wants to sell me stuff. That is not something that they want. They want to just evaluate something on their own, then be informed about it, have all their questions answered, and then maybe they want to make a buying decision. So one way for you, if you're, I don't know, a business development responsible, would be to change the way that you're selling yourself, the way you're marketing yourself. So instead of saying I'm a sales responsible, you say I'm a new client champion, or I'm a new client discovery person, whatever works for you. And so you're not in business development, you're in customer success or new customer success. Now, get creative with it, but make sure that instead of having sales rep or business development rep in there, that you have something that looks a little bit more customer friendly. Then imagine receiving an email that says, "Hey Lisa, looks now wasn't the best time to connect. If anything changes, feel free to check in again. All the best. Goodbye." Now, this is what I call a breakup email. So there's a lot of sentences where a lot of sequences where I'm sending emails 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing happens, and then that sixth one, I call it the breakup email or the goodbye email, where you're saying, okay, you know what, now wasn't the best time, it seems. You will never hear from me again. Goodbye. Not in those words, but basically. So what that does, it will really make people stop in their tracks where they're reading it and they're thinking, you know what, maybe I missed something really important and I don't want to disappoint anyone. And of course, you don't want to guilt trip people too bad. So you want to word it a little bit, not too guilt trippy, but it's something that can be very effective, where it's just saying goodbye, and then they'll think, you know what, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. They start looking through that sequence, they read your emails, and then they decide if it was something for them or not. Maybe they were thinking around your first emails, they were thinking, you know what, I'll respond to it later. They're putting it off. And then this really feels like their last chance to actually respond. So they'll actually respond. So that goodbye or that breakup email is an email where I usually see a lot of really good responses. So it's something that you want to have as a sequence saver as well for your cold outreach. Now, next time that you're sending campaigns, cold outreach campaigns, make sure that you set up both A and B versions. You're constantly split testing. If you have a marketing background like I do, you'll notice how important it is to split test and make sure you're constantly testing. But the reason for that is I have a lot of assumptions about what is best. And I have a lot of things where I think, oh, this is really cool to learn about my company, so I'll put it in there. But maybe people don't really care about it. Or maybe it's just something that you think is really cool, but the rest of the world doesn't. Can happen. So what you want to do is you want to test different call to actions, subject lines, just really constantly be testing, but make sure you're testing one thing at a time. So instead of having 4 different versions and then thinking, oh, well, I don't know why this one is best, make sure you have an A and a B version. A is just your control version, the one you always send. And then B is the version where you have a different call to action. You compare those two. The one with the new call to action did better. You use that one as your new control, and you keep adjusting. That way you know at least which part is better or worse and which part was the cause for the difference in metrics.